guys, this is Travis from Salt Lake Running Company, here to talk today about the Wasatch Back Ragnar Relay. I've done the Ragnar Relay myself personally 9 times as an ultra runner, and so I've covered the whole course from beginning to end and many phases of the course multiple times throughout my Ragnar Wasatch Back running career. So what I want to do today is just kind of take you through beginning to end, just kind of some key points about some of the legs. I'm not going to hit on every specific leg, but just kind of generalize the course from beginning to end and kind of some of my perceptions of some tips that I think might be beneficial for you. So the starting line is in Logan, starting at Utah State University, and the first run is always a really fun run because you've got the crowds there, the starting line, the atmosphere, everybody's really excited and stoked to get going. Some of you are going to be starting really early in the morning, some of you are going to be starting mid-morning or late afternoon, depending on what your start time is, but it's still a fun atmosphere at the starting line. And that first runner takes off and starts with no van support for a little while, and so you might want to take a little bit of a water bottle or a handheld, something along the way for that first run. There are several runs during several legs during the Wasatch Back that do not have van support, and so that runner, you need to check your legs and see whether or not you've got support, or whether you need to take your own water with you, or whether your van will provide that for you. And leg number 1 starts off that way. As you get going, then through those first couple of exchange points throughout Cache Valley, they're pretty long legs, not too much uphill, not too much downhill for your first few legs, but they are pretty long. So if you're starting late morning or afternoon, you need to prepare for the heat. Have some water that you can have available to pour over your head, or some sort of a way to cool yourself off a little bit, because you will get hot on those first legs. Once you get to the bottom of Avon Pass, the runner that's running up Avon Pass has a nice long run on a dirt road. It's actually a really nice run. It is uphill, but it's not super steep, and it's not and it's your first run of the relay, so your legs aren't fatigued yet, and so it's actually a really nice run. However, the traffic with the Ragnar Relay has gotten to the point where it's a constant flow of cars driving beside you as you're running, and doing that on a dirt road creates a lot of dust. So wearing some sort of a bandana or some sort of a dust mask over your face will help you breathe a lot better, and so you're not inhaling all that dust as you're running up the road. So that's just a key point for that one. You're also going to want to make sure that you are getting plenty of fluid. Your van may not be able to get to you, even though it is a supported leg. Your van may not be able to get to you on that leg because the traffic is pretty hard if you're in one of the main times of the traffic flow. So I would recommend carrying your own water with you on the uphill part of the Avon leg. Once you get almost to the top of Avon Pass, you'll exchange off to the next runner, who will run down the backside of Avon and run to the first major exchange at Exchange 6 in Ogden Valley. That run is also partly on the dirt road, but it's not nearly as bad for that runner because it's mostly downhill, but I still do recommend that runner to wear a bandana or some sort of a mask to help to keep the dust out, because that can get really dusty as well. Exchange 6 is the first major exchange. That's where Van 1 will exchange with Van 2, and all the runners in Van 2 will begin their runs. Van 2's runs are actually very short and flat and easy for the most part. Runners 1 through 4 have a pretty easy time about it. So a couple of the runs are less than 3 miles and very, very flat, and so that's kind of your almost a warm-up for Van 2. That also means that Van 1, even though your legs were very, very long in your first one, that also means that your recovery time is going to be a lot shorter in between your first run and your second run, because Van 2 is not running as far, and so be ready for that. Once you get across Ogden Valley, you'll have a runner. Runner 5 will run up Old Snow Basin Road. That is an uphill climb and it's fairly long. That's a fairly difficult run. And then once that runner gets up to Snow Basin, runner number 12 will run all the way about a 2-mile trail run on Snow Basin. So everybody will stay there at Snow Basin. That's the second major exchange point. And once runner 12 is done, he'll hand back off to runner number 1, and runner number 1 will begin their second run of the relay. They'll run down Trapper's Loop into Morgan Valley. The exchange point there is in Mountain Green, and then a few exchanges going across Morgan Valley and ending up the same person who ran down, Avon Pass will now run up all the way to East Canyon. That is a very difficult run. Many people have to do it at nighttime because of by the time you get to that point, the sun will have gone down. It's a long run, it's uphill, it's almost deceiving with a lot of the way that some of the corners are. You turn around a corner and you think you're almost there, and then there's another corner, and then you turn around that corner and think you're almost there, and then there's another corner. It's a very difficult leg psychologically, so just if you're that runner, just plan on just sticking it in low gear and just going for it and put your music on and just have a good time. Okay, so once you get up to East Canyon, now you're at the next major exchange point, and you're going to run from East Canyon. The second van is going to start their second legs. They're going to run over a mountain pass into Hennifer. That first run is short and slightly uphill. The second run is a nice long gradual downhill. That's actually my favorite run of the entire relay, is running that downhill into Hennifer. It's typically, for many people, it's in the nighttime and it's fairly dark. I've actually turned my headlamp off, don't tell anybody, and just run with the moonlight, nice and peaceful, gradual downhill run. It's a fun run, enjoy that one. Then once you get down into Hennifer, then some of the longer legs start. So that second van that had a couple of short runs across Ogden Valley, now here comes some of the longer ones that make up for those short ones. So you run from Hennifer all the way around, all the way to Echo Reservoir and around to the other side of Echo Reservoir. That's an 11+ mile run. Part of it's even on a dirt trail. So this run is, in my opinion, one of the most difficult runs of the entire relay. Even though it's not a ton of hill climbing like the actual Ragnar leg is, as we get to it, or the Avon Pass leg or the East Canyon leg, it is the longest leg, and it's typically, for most people, at night, and it's kind of a lonely. There's no van support on the entire leg at all, so you've got to carry your own nutrition, your own fluids, and so you are on your own for a very long period of time on this leg. And so, again, it needs to be something that you're psychologically prepared for. Basically, plan on running a half marathon in the middle of the night by yourself. Other runners around you will help support you. Don't be afraid to talk to each other while you're out there running. Don't be afraid to run with one another and kind of get through it together, because you're both out there on your own, so team up if you can. Then you will hand off to another runner who will take off from the backside of Echo Reservoir and continue on into the quote-unquote Wasatch Back. This is where the Wasatch Back Relay gets its name from, running through the small towns of the Wasatch Back. So you'll be running through a lot of these smaller towns of the Wasatch Back. This area is very, very rural, lots of fields, lots of farmland. It's a very, very peaceful and enjoyable part of the course. You will run around Rockport Reservoir, and you'll run through another major exchange point. I believe at this exchange point they'll have showers available for you, and they'll have areas marked out for sleeping, so that when you're in your van are not running, you guys will be able to throw your sleeping bags out on the grass or on a gym floor and rent a mat, support the local schools, and get a shower and kind of relax a little bit as you're waiting for the next van to come. Now, once you get through Francis, then things are going to start to kind of kick back up another notch. Those runners that run from Francis, nice long downhill, and then you start hitting a really long uphill climb to get up around Jordanelle Reservoir. There is an exchange point along that area. That whole area, again, is non-support, so it's another long uphill climb with no van support, so plan appropriately. Once you get to the top of the pass by Jordanelle Reservoir, then you have a long downhill, pounding type of a run. And this run is very, very difficult because it's this person's third leg, and it's very steep, very painful. Be ready for that one. But it is a fun one to kind of let your legs go and give whatever you've got left, and kind of get a good fast leg in if your legs have any life left in them. Now once you get to the bottom of the Jordanelle Reservoir Road, now you start going across Heber Valley. And Heber Valley is a nice, fun, flat area. For many people, this is where the heat kicks in, because you'll be hitting this area when on the next day when the heats come up, the sun's come up, and this is your third leg. You're very fatigued, very tired. Psychologically, this is a very, very difficult part for many, many people. But it's also a very fun part. This is where also much of the spread from the starting line of the previous day begins to kind of accordion together. And so a lot of vans and a lot of legs and a lot of people begin to catch up with each other. And so you get to start to see people that you see people that you've been running with. You're familiar with a lot of the other teams that have been running around you. You recognize a lot of the vans that you've been kind of leapfrogging with all night. And now it's daytime, and you get to see these people, and you're able to kind of put some faces with the vans and begin to meet people and really have a good time with one another. So now once you get across Heber Valley, now the fun begins. Now you get to the bottom of what is known as Ragnar. The first part of the hill climb is called Are You Kidding Me? And it's called that for a reason. It's 4 miles of very intense uphill running, followed by the Ragnar leg, the leg that has given all the Ragnar relays its name, the Ragnar leg, which is about 4 miles of uphill climbing to the top of Guardsman's Pass. This run, the only thing I can tell you for your tips on this run is 1 foot in front of the other. It's a slog out fest, and make sure that you are just going to just do it. You just look down and just keep going. Once you get to the top of Guardsman's Pass, then you have a couple of legs of long downhill or flat into the finish line area, where you get to meet up with your team and cross the finish line together and have a big party at the finish line area. That part of the relay is where everything kind of comes together, and you get to meet up with your other van and have pizza, have a little party, and begin to relax and enjoy what you just accomplished together. That's kind of a long video, but I hope that it helps take you from beginning to end and help prepare you a little bit psychologically, give you a few tips along the way of how to get ready for this Ragnar relay, the Wasatch Back. It's a great time, great experience. Enjoy it. Enjoy the people around you. Enjoy your team, and you'll have a great, great time. Good luck.